This is Sunny from LS Vitality, and I'm here with Joelle today, and she is a yoga teacher and Ayurvedic consultant as well. And I thought what I'll do today is talk to her a little bit about Ayurveda. And I've talked about this in my previous videos, but I just wanted to cover the basics of Ayurveda today. So Joelle, why don't you just introduce yourself, just let them know what you do, your yoga training and your Ayurveda training.
Hi, I'm Joelle, and I teach at Nam Yoga on the Upper West Side, and I graduated from Ishta Yoga, and I began to learn about Ayurveda from Ishta Yoga, and that led me to New World Ayurveda, and I became a Ayurvedic practitioner from that school. So today I teach at Nam Yoga, and I also offer Ayurvedic consultations at the center.
So basically, again, I just wanted to cover the basics of Ayurveda today. So why don't we go into the 5 elements, and then we can dive deep into the 3 doshas, which is the 3 constitutions. So why don't you start by talking about the 5 elements? Or even we could start off by, what does Ayurveda mean? Because a lot of people is like, what does it even mean? So you want to talk about how Ayurveda, where it comes from, what it means. Just a quick intro.
So Ayurveda stands for the science of life, and or the knowledge of life, and it comes from this idea where we are all born in this perfect harmony and balance, and we come from these elements of the universe. These 5 elements are known as earth, water, fire, air, and space, sometimes also known as ether. And these elements come together and coagulate to make us our physical body, our dense body. We have many layers of our being in that. So, and these energies that lie within us, these elements, it's not seeable to the naked eye. But they all have a different purpose, and they all work together in tandem. And they affect our character, our emotions, our personality. They affect our physical body, and they affect even the universe holds, and the season holds these elements, and it's constantly changing and moving and fluctuating. So Ayurveda helps us to come from this space of balance and take these 5 elements and take them back into this balance. Because when it's out of balance within us, we are not optimal in our living. We tend to be more tired, or we tend to be maybe more emotional, or something physical in our body is not right. Maybe we develop allergies. So Ayurveda studies these 5 elements, and each element, the earth element, relates to our physical body, our bones, our structure, and our skin. The water element is the flow in our body, and the movement that happens within our body. The fire element is about transformation and digestion. The air element is about also the movement, and it comes from our creativity, comes from the air and the flow, and the space just holds everything into and contains everything.
Okay, great. So now we know the 5 elements. Do you want to talk a little bit about the 3 constitutions? So there are 3 body types. Even in Western medicine, you learn about ectomorph and endomorph and mesomorph, 3 body types. So Ayurveda has this similar thing which kind of flows from the 5 elements. So you want to talk about those 3 constitutions?
Yes. So within the 5 elements, it can be categorized into 3 different buckets. And these 3 different buckets are sort of like the subcategories of the elements, and each one of us has these 3 different categories that are within us. They're known as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata holds the element of air and space. Pitta holds the element of mostly fire and some water, and Kapha is earth and some water. So all of us have these 3 doshas within us, and in different forms and degrees. So some of us have more earth, some of us have more fire, some of us have more air and space. So depending on this different makeup, each one of us is very unique in how much sort of like ingredients, we all have different proportions of these ingredients within us. So if we are a person that has more vata or air and space, we tend to have a longer face, more oval face. We tend to be a little bit more sort of like creative, and we tend to have a little bit more of thought to thoughts in our minds. We can easily adapt quickly from one thought to the next thought. If we have more pitta element within us, we tend to have that more fiery personality. A pitta person has a more medium frame build, more of a square face. They also have like information, like preciseness. And if we are a kapha person, we tend to have larger bones. We have a little bit more density. We're very stable, very reliable as a person. And kapha element is the earth element.
Okay, great. So, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the types of food that pitta should focus on eating? Just a couple, you don't have to talk about a lot. And maybe for kapha and vata as well. And maybe one or two types of exercise. Like for example, I am pitta myself. So I used to do hot yoga before, but then I found out for pitta, hot yoga probably isn't the best thing. It's because it's already like too much fire within, and it's not good to be in an environment where it's already too hot. So maybe one or two different exercises or one or two different food that each constitution should eat.
Okay, so for the pitta constitution, especially right now when the weather is hot, there are, well, let's rewind, go back. There are within food, when we talk about food, Ayurveda understands that there are 6 different tastes for food, and they are sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent. And each one of these tastes are within our foods that we eat. And there are different, and each one of them relates to the 5 elements too. So during the hot season, it is known as the pitta season. So summer is the pitta season. And if you are a pitta person and you're eating foods that are very hot, like chili peppers or spicy foods, even if you're doing nightshade type of things like tomatoes or peppers, that can elevate the levels of pitta, and our bodies relate to the season as well. So when that can throw us out of balance in this fire element. And when that happens, our emotions get more fiery, get a little bit more temperamental, short-tempered. We can also become a little bit too aggressive, kind of like type A personalities. So what you want to do for pittas is you want to do a pitta pacified diet, so eat cooling foods. So one indication of what the cooling foods are is when you go to the grocery store and you see what's in season. Maybe it's the watermelon or the cantaloupe or the cucumbers, something that makes your body feel a little cooler and cool down. So you want to do some of these things. Also, exercises for a person that's pitta, and you're feeling a little out of balance. Things in yoga postures are a little bit more cooling, a little bit more relaxing. So you want to do, if you're a headstand person, you want to do a little bit less headstand, not hold it as long because a lot of the blood is going to rush to the head. You also want to do a little bit more twists and cooling postures. Twists in yoga helps to now bring out the fire and sort of like exhaust out a lot of the fire elements within us. And the earth element, kapha. Kapha happens during the spring, just right after gravy-like foods, the starches, the breads. That's going to make us a little bit feel more lethargic, feel less motivated, and to help to balance the kapha, you want to do more exercises, like more vigorous exercises. Exercises that pull you away from the earth, maybe flight exercises like the Warrior 3, or maybe expansion type of poses like the triangle pose or something like that. Things that's going to lift you away from the earth. You can also do heart opener type of poses like Ustrasana or a camel pose. So you want to be mindful of and aware of how you're feeling and what the season is. And Vata is the air and space element, so that element happens during fall, and that's when things are very dry. Think about wind and air and movement and dryness. So that's when our skin becomes dry. That's when our minds become a little less focused, a little more shifty. We may become a little bit more fearful. And Vata balance normally happens when we get a lack of sleep. Maybe we're stressed at work, or home, or something that's happening. So
Traveling as well.
traveling is
Flying.
definitely a huge one. So you want to now eat foods that are very grounding. And during the fall, there are a lot of foods, that come into play, pumpkins and things that are very grounding, and squashes. And then that's when you can do, some of the heavier gravy foods, things that make you feel a little bit more steady and stable. And those are very nourishing and very good for a Vata person. Also, things that are sweet and sour and salty are good for Vata in that time. And the yoga postures that you want to do are ones that bring you down back to the earth. So maybe you could do like a chair pose. A chair pose would root and ground your feet into the earth. Things that squatted positions. Here you can also do a really nice restorative, which keeps you on the floor, which you can just relax your mind and to ground your mind and to do that meditation that'll help pull your energies back inward instead of being scattered. So that's about it for now.
Great. I think we gave a lot of information for the basics of Ayurveda. So just to sum it up, all of it again, it's basically Ayurveda literally translates into the science of life or the knowledge of life. In Sanskrit, Ayur means life and Veda means knowledge or science. So Ayurveda is the science of life. Now Ayurveda believes that there's 5 elements that Joel talked about, which is space, air, fire, water, and earth. And then out of those 5 elements comes 3 constitutions, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And depending on what body type you are, what's predominantly in you, is how you should really focus on your lifestyle, be it your diet, your food, your exercise, and just overall lifestyle that you should live. So that being said, I'll also post a description below where you can go and click on this quiz that you could take and answer some questions and find out. It'll give you an idea of what body type you are, if you're Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. I think that would be a good start just to look at that. So that being said, thank you so much for doing the interview. And if people want to know more about you, what you do and your teachings and stuff, where can they check it out?
Okay. Well, you can visit my website. It's ayurvedalivingbyjoelle.com. We also have a meetup group called the Ayurveda Collective. It's also on Facebook. So find us there, and Sunny is part of the collaboration of these groups too. And what we do is we bring everyone together that's interested in Ayurveda. Some Ayurveda professionals, some people that don't know anything about Ayurveda, and we do fun events. So far we've had a yoga event that was out here in Central Park. We've had a Ayurveda workshop at the yoga studio, and upcoming we have a picnic that we're going to plan for us to experience some Ayurveda food by the Positive Kitchen, made by Radhika, who's also an organizer of the Ayurveda Collective. So we welcome you to all come and join if you don't know anything about Ayurveda, or if you are even a practitioner or someone that wants to talk more about Ayurveda. It's just a collective of us coming together and just having a good time and just living the lifestyle of Ayurveda. So, thank you.
Great. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you next time.